So at the book launch, we talked about the book, The Deviant Grimoire, and more of like the process of writing the book. And this show is to dig more into the meat and the bones of the book for anybody who has actually read the book, or if you have any specific questions about anything that is written in the book, or for us, or anything that you need to be clarified. A lot of people have talked about how much they like the book, but it seems like people don't want to like spoil it for others. And I think that's a little bit, I don't know, at first I was like, that sounds a little bit odd because it's not a novel or a movie. Like, how can you spoil it? But I think I kind of get it now because, you know, it takes time to digest information, and there's actually a lot of information in here. It's over 700 pages. It's over 700 pages. But right now we've sold over 300 copies of the book between the print and the digital versions, and that does not include the copies that we bought for ourselves. The two versions are a little bit different. There's formulas in the print version that are not in the digital version, and vice versa. The content, the main content, is exactly the same though. So in each book you get something that's a little bit different. And the price of the book will be going up in June. So if you thought about it, get it now before the price goes up. And if you have any questions or comments about the book, feel free to post them. There should be a Q&A box.
There
hopefully.
is on the side right here.
So there is on my side. Hopefully it's on their side. So
yes, because you should be on the right side.
Not the left side. Okay.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry.
So we have gotten a lot of really amazing feedback from this book. So I would like to talk about that for a couple minutes while we're waiting for questions.
That is just weird. Okay, we were like so ready to be on time today, and I was like all prepared. I was here, I got my shit together, and it was on, and what happens? My internet just died. Like, I couldn't connect. So that's why we're late. It's me again. Fashionably late.
It's usually me, actually.
Oh my gosh. I gotta... No, we've had like a lot of like amazing feedback, and I don't know, it kind of like takes me by surprise because just because like when I post on my page, when I post on other pages and stuff, and I'm very blunt, and the way I speak, it tends to offend a lot of people. But I feel like people finally gotten used to that, and they kind of see past all of that. Because, you know, when you cuss, when you swear, when you're really passionate, you sort of uproot things, and people are now, at least I hope, that they're used to, well, semi-used to that, because I need to keep people on their toes, so don't get too comfortable, y'all. But I think that they're finally like understanding that we have a purpose. Mm-hmm. There is why we speak the way we speak, and it's not simply because we're assholes, but it's not simply because we're assholes. We care. And so getting all this feedback, it's like, really? You like it? You really like it? I'm glad that you do. I don't know. It's just, I don't know how I feel about that. It's cool.
It's sometimes too is when you use a certain kind of language, when you are more blunt and you use more blunt language, it kind of gets people to pay attention a little bit more. It emphasizes. So that's kind of what profanity is supposed to be for, is to emphasize. So there is profanity. If you haven't read the book, if you don't know us, there is profanity in the book. One of the things that I was concerned about was the pop culture references. I remember at some point I was like, Michael, do you think we're using too many? And I
remember that.
I haven't heard anything specifically from anybody one way or the other. I haven't heard anything about that at all, but I do think it helps make it a little bit more relatable, because there are things that mostly everybody has watched. Like almost everybody has watched The Neverending Story or The Craft or Buffy.
Gosh,
I referenced Harry Potter when I was writing about Mandrake. That was actually kind of funny because I was writing about Mandrake and I was like, I just read about that in Harry Potter. Like, I just read that to my kids. I'm like, I
Oh
have to
yeah,
talk about that. I have to talk about the screaming mandrake roots. So things have just come up that were like, all right, well, that just it has to go in there. So it is what
and
it
I've
is.
I've always liked that kind of thing. You know, I love movies, I love books, and I like being able to relate to them. And I feel like as a reader myself, like when people tie that in, it makes it more understandable. It makes it more like real for me. I don't feel like there's someone up on this pedestal. I don't feel like, they're just talking, throwing the books together, all this information. I feel like when you have those references, when you have like, it's just fun. When you have that, people like, they relax a little more and they can retain the information a little better. But I love the never, and it's really funny because for every section, I knew exactly what to put. Like a movie popped up, or a quote popped up from the movie, and I'm like, that needs to be in the section. I have to find it. And then I think that was it at the beginning. Oh shit, I don't even know. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's like the beginning quote is from the Never Ending Story.
Yeah,
I think.
it is.
Yes, like page
Mm-hmm.
4. That I'm like, yeah, I'm like, that has to go in it. That has to be there. And I didn't remember. I knew the movie, and I couldn't remember exactly what it was. So I had to go through and search for the exact quote that I needed. But I found it, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
that just kind of it manifested like that with throughout the whole book.
Right.
A lot of people really enjoyed the little witchling section.
Yeah.
We got a lot of good feedback from that.
Because a lot of people don't cover that, or they cover the
Yeah,
more spiritual aspects, which is awesome, but they don't cover the magical aspects because a lot of people don't want to teach their children the craft for some reason.
I
So
don't know, weird reason. Yeah.
shut up.
Well, probably because they don't want little demon witches running around, freaking casting. That would be so fun.
Yeah.
But um, no, that I really felt like that section was absolutely necessary for a book like this because we are trying to incorporate so much, and a part of our life, part of a lot of people's lives is kids, having kids around, having kids, nieces, nephews, and it's so important uh, to be able to speak to them about your craft because it's who you are. You don't want to hide that from your children. And I felt like a lot of books out there that do speak on behalf of children or for children, they do amazing jobs, but there's always something falling short. There's no actual practice involved. There's not actually talking to the parent as a parent. There's not, integrating that craft into their lives.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's really fun because we do all of that. And a lot of people, we got a lot of messages, people appreciating that. So that was pretty neat.
Can you make sure? Can you double check to make sure the question and answer box is up?
It's up. Y'all better be out. Oh shoot, it is up, and no one is asking questions.
Well,
Come on.
somebody's saying that they don't see anything, so that's why I'm asking you to double check it.
So in order for you to ask questions, you have to be on the Google page, not the YouTube link. You have to click the Google. And even on YouTube, like a little pop-up will come up saying, in order to participate in asking questions, click this link. It'll take you to the Google event page. So yeah, that's the page that you need to go to. Let me see if I can copy and paste.
I think the only live events I've ever attended were our own. Oh, okay. So somebody said that they have it. So it is working. If it's not working for you,
okay.
If it's not working for you, I don't know what to tell you.
Oh, Prairie.
Okay, so
this bug dude is like a weapon.
You were doing a little bit of a bibliomancy earlier, and I was thinking it's like maybe we should try some bibliomancy with the book. That would be interesting. But also the people that won the raffles, from when we did our book launch, they got their boxes, right?
They did.
Sunshine did a video. I saw it.
She did.
And I'm jealous because I'm like, I wanted all that stuff.
I know. I'm super jealous too. I packed that shit and I was like, I didn't even realize how much it was. Well, I did when I had to get a bigger box, but I just packed it all in there. I'm like, this shit better not break. I'll be mad. But when she got it and she did her video, I was like, dang, I want that. No, I don't. That's too much stuff.
Well, you had it in your house.
Forever. I know. So Lynn got her stuff as well. She super enjoyed that. Donna, I couldn't find you on Facebook, Donna. I don't know where you are, but I have your email address and you email me back. And I know she got her stuff because I tracked it. Oh, I got distracted. It says click the tile box in the upper right corner, and it comes up with Q&A or showcase. Click the Q&A. Just for all y'all who need to, ask questions.
Yeah, I don't think the questions show up for the people that are watching. I think they just show up for us. I'm not sure. I don't know. We've been doing this for a while, and I still don't know how it works. I'm glad we're just here.
Yeah. Connected. Because...
I don't know. I was hoping there'd be questions already. I'm a little bit.
I was looking for questions too, y'all.
At a loss. If you've read the book and you're watching, is there anything? I'm kind of watching the event too, so if you have to absolutely have to comment there, you can do that. Is there anybody who has read the book that has anything specific that they really liked about it, or that they didn't resonate with them, or the reason why we want the feedback, and we do want the feedback, is because it will help us in the future to know if how we are presenting the information is working for other people, if what we are presenting is working for other people, and it'll help us to figure out if we want to do a book 2, or if a book 2 is needed. There's that question.
Okay. Yeah. We have a question, y'all.
We keep getting that question.
I don't know. Okay, does this book come in a hard copy too? So
it is a hard copy. This is a physical printed copy. Is it hardcover? No. We're not doing hardcover right now. This is a hard copy though. It's just in the paperback right now. In the future, who knows? Not quite sure. Another thing we should address too is we still haven't actually come to a conclusion on the signatures, but autographs is not something that we're doing right now, because logistically, realistically, money-wise, everything, the book would cost twice the amount, almost twice the amount, if we shipped it back and forth and all around the world. So,
yeah, because we have to get it shipped. We have to get the copy shipped to us, and then we have to ship it, back and forth from each other, and then we have to ship it to you. So I am leaning.
It's not cost effective because it would cost you too much money to buy the book. So as of right now, it is what it is. It's just, and we didn't think we were going to have as many people wanting autographs.
No. So, and I'm kind of giving into like that sticker shit, but I don't know.
Had brought up the idea of a book plate to Michael, and he said no because it's a sticker. And somebody just mentioned bookmarks. We'd have to get them printed and designed, and they'd have to be just as awesome as the cover and everything else is. So that, if that does happen, that will take some time.
Yeah, because I'm OCD about that shit. Like, it has to be perfect. And if it's not, like, I get nitpicky and I start to spaz out and I irritate everyone. And that's not a fun space to be
No,
in.
it's not irritating. You're just very particular.
I have control issues. It's okay. I can admit it. And it has to be a certain way because, like, I expect a lot out of myself. I expect a lot out of us, so to produce something. So when things don't go a certain way, when things don't go in a way that I care for, I freak out. I've freaked out a lot. And so thinking about, like, these stickers or anything else, like, it's just like, oh, do I want to deal with that right now?
I'm telling you, a lot of authors do them, and sometimes they sign them, and sometimes they're just a cool picture, and people love them because they're from the author. So, like I said, that is something that we have not actually come to a conclusion on. Because as I've said before, Michael and I don't always agree on everything, and that's awesome. But we're adults, so we talk it out. So we're still trying to figure that out.
Laugh about it, and
we're still trying to figure that out. So
we are.
when we figure that out, we'll let you know. Because that's probably not something that we're going to be able to do for free either.
No.
So it's just not something that we can do ourselves.
The fire distraction.
No, I'm trying to think of something else to say. I just got distracted because I'm just distractible.
Sorry, I have to make this environment sacred.
Also, too, if people just have the digital version, I don't know how much a book plate is going to do for them. I guess they could sticker it onto their Kindle if they really wanted to.
I don't know. Yeah, something. Oh my gosh, there's so much that I was gonna say, and, like, totally my internet dying, like, fried my brain.
Actually, somebody just posted in the event that personally they wouldn't put their signature on the book plate. I thought about that too. I don't know if I want to actually give a whole bunch of people my signature.
Well, see, here's the thing. I also thought about that. And are you sure, y'all, that you want our signatures? Because that goes both ways. You get something, you try and do something, but
you get it back.
You do. So I thought about that too, because I'm like, you know what? And this is how paranoid I am. I'm like, okay, if someone wants, like, my signature so they can try and do something, they're gonna try and do it. But motherfuckers, like, if you try and come at me, it's nice try.
Mm-hmm.
So I have that gateway too, because it is a gateway. When you sign something, the person who has it is open to you, but you are now also open to the person who contains your shit. But a lot of people don't even realize that. I don't know why. It's like common witchy sense.
That's like even touching people, touching things. That's why it's really you have to be careful who you share your energy with, and be able to not just be careful, but cut the cords and shield and everything you need to do. Yeah. Something that should be done regularly.
So, okay. We gotta figure out something to talk about. I wasn't prepared in this department because I had a lot of people say that they had questions and they were not revealing the questions because they wanted to do it now. And bitches, where are you? There's no questions.
That's why I had
so now
in the event that I was hoping to have, like, a list of questions, and yeah, you guys have completely, like,
you have failed.
You have abandoned us. You have completely abandoned us.
Okay, so
I want to talk about the fonts and stuff in the book, and I didn't realize till I actually started looking through it, but the fonts are actually pretty friggin' awesome. Like, where was it? Like, in the zeros, there's like this little like plus sign and stuff. I thought that was cool. You're gonna look for it.
I know, I'm like, now I'm gonna open this book.
Yeah, if you go to the back in the 700s, you can see it better.
Oh my gosh, it's not gonna be a freaking.
It's gonna be us reading the book.
That's looking at our books like.
All right.
Okay, so people, come on, let's talk. I thought what was really cool. Ooh, I want to know if anyone has used the time work, where I say how to speed up time or how to slow it down, because I use that shit daily, man. I obviously don't use it for the show because it just never works. But I use it daily every time I go to work, mostly because I'm always, for some reason, pushing time. And so I use that on, really, I use it when I get to work. I use it when I'm on lunch. Usually,
I just found it.
If I'm working, depending on who I'm working with, sometimes I'll speed up time so the day will go by faster.
If you have the printed version, it's page 99 that he's talking about, and it's the magical timing section. And it's in bold, his bit about basically, is it considered to be bending time? Maybe?
Kinda. Yeah. Well, yeah, I use it to bend time because I'm like, okay, slow it down, speed it up. Slow it down, speed it up.
Does that work when you're driving to work?
I do. I say it like when I'm in my car on my way to work, I will chant it and I will be like, I gotta go. And I wrote in here too, like, I use it a lot and I notice that cars will get out of my way and I tend to speed. You shouldn't speed. It's not good for you. You really shouldn't speed. So don't listen to me. But I do tend to speed. And there have been quite a few instances where there have been cops and they don't see me.
Oh, you know what I do when I pass the cops? I say something out loud that I'm like, that I'm invisible, you can't see me, just to the cops, because it's not safe to do that while you're driving because then the other cars won't see you. But if you're going to do something like that, make sure it's specific to the person that you don't want to see you, like the cop, that they can't see you, and to make sure to end it or to break it, however you're going to do it, right away. Because if the other cars can't see you, they will hit you. So
yeah,
that's something that I'll do that. I'll do that for a little bit. Sometimes it doesn't have to be. It doesn't happen often. Because I usually roll out of bed and go to work. And I go to work at night, and it seems like whenever I'm late is when there's people that are just granny boxed in on the parkway. And all the red lights, and it's terrible. So I need to start doing that, or waking up a little bit earlier.
Well, I can get up as early as I want, but no matter what, for some reason, I'm always just running a little behind.
It's because you think you have more time, so you take more time.
I know, it's retarded. It's ridiculous. So, ooh, what's going on over here? So yeah, I hope that someone's putting that to use. And I think another thing that separates, I can't say that other people who write books, they don't actually experience their stuff. I really can't say that. I know some people just write to write, and they haven't really, they don't live what they write. They're already in a different space. But I can say, at least for what we produce, this is who we are. This is what we live by. So far things change, but everything in this book, there's a hummingbird. Sorry. There's a hummingbird.
Oh, look, a squirrel. There.
With wings. But everything in here is stuff that we personally experience. A lot of our personal experiences, a lot of our personal workings, just stuff that we do. This is stuff that we have invested in. So we know, it has worked for us. It works for other people that we know. Um, this is stuff that I've suggested to my clients, and it's worked for them on varying levels. It just depends, but it has always brought some sort of success. And so I think that's pretty cool to know. At least we know and we trust that it's in there because we read it, we've experienced it. So that's a pretty cool.
And
That's
this
cool
is
to me.
actually a basic book.
Yes.
This is the basics. This is the basics. Yeah, I think it's because we feel comfortable exploring everything. We've covered healing and children and malediction and love and money and the different moon phases and the different full moons and time and color. It's everything, but it's still basics. So when we do work on book number 2, we do plan on getting into more advanced things, which is why we're waiting for feedback. But if you're watching this not live, please leave us comments so we can know anything that you're looking for book number 2. It'll just help us out a lot. So we do have a
and when you leave your comment on the YouTube replay, because for me that's easier when I check that, because it notifies me when people comment there. Sometimes I don't get all the notifications like on the Google event page after the fact. Yes.
So we actually okay. We actually do have a question.
Oh, lovely.
From Prairie. Do you want me to read it?
Oh, do you want me to read it?
Do you want me to read it?
No, go ahead. Go ahead. You read it.
Okay. So I'm gonna something noticed about the Gardnerian tradition, the aspect of the fold is in quotes, the fold law. I have been under the impression throughout my learnings that it's based on the Bible, eye for an eye concept. And do you feel that this is accurate? So do you think that the fold, whatever fold it is that you believe, I've heard up to 10.
10, 20, 30, 65.
Is based on the eye for an eye concept.
I wish it was. Because, well, I mean, an eye for an eye, you kill me, I'm going to, come back from the dead and kill you. Well, a limb for a limb, tooth for a tooth. I don't know.
I think that's, in a way, to scare people to be nicer to each other. So in a way, I see the fold law being similar because it's a scare tactic to be like, listen, okay, well, you have to be good or what you do is going to come back to you. And that way, eye to eye is a little bit different because it's a straight up like punishment. Like the folds, I've heard a couple different things. I've heard that what you put out is going to come back to you threefold. I've heard that what you put out is going to come back to you mentally, physically, and spiritually. That's what the 3 means. I heard that the fold part, the 3 times 3, came from a fiction novel. So
yes.
I haven't studied the Gardnerian tradition because it never really called to me to really study it. But I do know that people that I know personally that follow the threefold law tend to have a lot of bullshit happen to them because they can't defend themselves or they're not willing to defend themselves or to stop something from happening. So it's never something that I've personally been interested in.
Yeah, and I don't know. I feel like an eye for an eye is a little more witchy because it's more like fierce. Because like I feel that's a little more. I think I could follow that a little more than fold law because that is just leaving too much to question and you don't really know. It's just law to me. At least with an eye for an eye, you know what you're getting into. You know that you're going to do something. Something's going to be like, it very well could be done back to you. And it doesn't leave anything to question. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I think the fold too that it breeds fear, which is a way for people to keep witches down. It's a way for people to not explore their full potential, because when you are fearful, you screw up or you don't explore things the way that you need to explore them. You don't have the connections that you need to have with your deities or your spirits or other witches. So I do feel that it is a fear tactic. And I do believe we covered that too. That is one of the things that we really do not follow personally. And a lot of people don't understand that it's not a universal law. It really isn't. If you don't believe it, it's not going to happen.
Sorry, I'm reading. I'm like trying to keep track because I feel like people are not knowing where to comment. So I'm like keeping track also of the comment section up in here.
Mm-hmm.
Up in here means the Facebook event page. Sorry, y'all. You need to just like read my mind and we'd be.
Well, I can, but nobody else can.
I know. What's up with that?
Oh, hey, since nobody's asking us any questions, can we talk about that for a minute? Let's talk about because nobody's asking us any questions about the book, and this is something that's popped up this week. Emotions. No, not really about emotions. Maybe a little bit. Okay. I feel like you're like literally putting it in my face.
I was.
That sounded really dirty. Anyways,
yeah.
Lately, people have been talking about finding their people, their circle, their tribe, however you want to talk about it. And the reason it made me think about it is the psychic connection. I had put something on Facebook a couple days ago. I think when people are looking for their circle, their group, they don't really know what they're in for. Finding your group is there's a lot more to it than people think. It's not like, okay, you go meet up with this group of people and you're automatically like super best friends. That's not really how it works. That's not how it works with regular friendships. And that's definitely not how it works with witchy friendships, because with witches, it takes a lot more for us to trust each other. And also, witches can feel each other on the psychic plane. So if you're hiding something, they're going to figure it out, or you're going to figure it out if they're hiding something. So that makes it a little bit harder for you to trust what's actually coming out of their mouth, because you can feel them on that energetic level. And if somebody's going through a really tough time, you may feel really like put off by their energy. So you may not want to be around them, or they may not want to be around you either. Also, when you keep constant contact and connection, and when you work with people, you do feel them psychically and energetically and emotionally, if you want to or not. So you have to be prepared for that. And I think that if you are trying to find a large circle, like there's a big community of people, you're spreading yourself out really, really thin, and you're leaving yourself open to psychic attacks, to other people's emotions without it being on purpose. You're opening yourself up not only to your crap, but to their crap. And in my opinion, the shielding is a little bit differently when you're doing it with your circle, your people, because you're more open to those specific people because you want to be, because you're connected to them. So if something happens all of a sudden to them, it's going to hit you like a Mack truck. And you have to be able to discern your energy from their energy. It's just like an empath, or people. Okay, I believe everybody's an empath, but when you are stronger empathic abilities, and you are in a crowded area, it's going to hit you a lot harder. So it's kind of like that. If you ever had that happen, that's how it is if somebody else that you're close to is going through something. So So you have to be able to work with it and to help uplift them and yourself. And it's not easy. And it's very easy to become disappointed in other people that you
Mm-hmm.
feel like you trusted, and maybe they ended up not being on the same wavelength or path that you are, or you went a different way and they don't agree with what you're doing now. And it's okay to let those relationships go. It really is, because sometimes they become toxic.
They do, and I think we talked about that a little bit before too. But you and the saying, be careful what you wish for, be careful what you ask for, especially when you're a craft practitioner. Be very careful with what it is you are putting out there with your words, not just your words, but your emotions, everything else. But when you're asking to seek, you're looking for your tribe, and when you attach onto people because you think they're part of your tribe, that's not healthy either. You have to be very careful, because not only are you finding a circle to kind of leech off of or attach to, uh, they're also, especially in this community, they're magical practitioners, which that comes with a whole different baggage,
Mm-hmm.
because we have spirit allies, we have ancestors, we have deities, we have elementals, we have everything. We have all these, amazing and powerful allies with us. And so when you are trying to fit in with a tribe that might not really be yours, and if they're not, it's okay. But when you're trying to be a part of that and you're forcing yourself into that, those ancestors, those ancestral, spirits, the elementals, everything, they might not be happy with that, and they're gonna freaking bitch slap you. And it's not gonna feel good. And I think my tribe really is my very small circle, but I feel like we're creating an extended tribe, and that really starts here. See how I did that? Did you see what I did here? You like it? Okay. So it it really does start here, because this is a primer, and if you actually listen and ask yourself questions and you work through this book and you start to challenge your own self, if you start to do all of that work and you start to practice and you start to live this, not, this is just a guide. It's not like you have to be one way or the other. It's more of like a compass. It guides you, but it shows you to ask questions. It shows you what you can actually achieve, what you can do. That's my tribe. People who are willing to do what is necessary to get, ahead in life, to get what they want, and that's within their own means, because they have the power to do that. It's people who work, people who are strong enough to look themselves, in the mirror, in the eyes, in the face, whatever, and just be honest.
And the thing of it is too is you need to know yourself before you can know other people. And that's a whole adage about you have to love yourself before you can love somebody else or be loved or allow yourself. It's the same kind of principle, where, I was in a small group and I didn't really quite know myself just yet, and things were cool and things were awesome, and I got to grow within that group, and I was growing and I was growing, and some of the other people weren't. And then it was time to leave. That's happened actually quite a few times. There's a local group. I tried to insert myself into the local group, and I realized that their way of doing things was a lot different than mine. So I kind of kept myself separated. And I've realized throughout the years that it's been better for me personally. It's been less dramatic. We'll just put it that way. But once you find yourself, I mean, you are going to grow more within your group, because your group is all about growth and uplifting each other and helping each other grow. But at the same time, you have to have a foundation of yourself and know who you are. If you are lost,
Right.
finding other people that are lost is not going to help you at all. You need to know
Right.
where you are in the moment, and then that can also change.
And you know, another scary, this is really, it is kind of scary. A scary thing is that if you are lost, you might not just find someone else who's lost, but you might find someone who wants to prey on that. You might find someone who needs people who are lost so they can work to fix them, or they can work to create minions.
Mm.
But I've seen it happen, and it's scary because these people start to form this very unhealthy relationship with the other individual, thinking that everything they say is like gospel, everything they do is okay, and they don't ask questions, they don't challenge. That's another, you know,
That's when people get
side
into
to,
trouble.
you
That's when
know.
people get into trouble, is when they don't question. And if something doesn't make sense to you, figure out why. There's a reason why you're confused. Because if somebody's giving you information and it's not right, there's a good chance that your spirit guides are scrambling this shit up in your mind because they don't want you to do what the other person has told you to do. There's something at play there. If you cannot grasp it, then you should not be doing it.
Right. Oh, okay. Before I say that, again, y'all, if you have any questions, if you want to discuss anything about the book, if you have any, really, if you have any questions about the craft, um, post them up, you know, and post them on here on Google where it says ask a question or put that shit up. I don't know what it says, so we can see it. But I was gonna say, like, when I was younger, I was so like I wanted to be part of the group so badly. I wanted to be a part so desperately. You know, I looked up on what was that fucking website? Is it Meetup? Meetup.com or something where they have all those group events.
Yeah.
Well, I found a tarot meetup, and I went with my best friend, and that shit was the weirdest shit in the world. Like, I'm not even joking. It was so uncomfortable. They did not know what the hell they were doing. I would expect the person who's running it, who said that they knew shit, to know shit. They were asking me to interpret for them. And I'm like, I just showed up. Like, I'm just trying to get to know y'all and to see what you're doing. But you had, they're like, no, it's the tarot. The tarot. And I'm not even kidding. It was like, yes, I practice the tarot. I'm like, yeah, okay. Am I ghetto over here? This is the tarot cards. But no, there's like, yes, we're going to study the tarot. And we are going to learn from this book right here. And I'm like, you just threw out this damn spread. You don't know what the fuck you're doing. Move out of the way because you're scaring this bitch off because they were doing a reading for someone. And I'm like, no, no, no. Oh, just irritates me. But yeah, and I'm like, okay, at least, and I am so thankful that I had a strong, my intuition's always been strong, even when I don't listen to it. But I listened to it. I was like, no, I'm not going back because that shit is weird. Those people are crazy, and they say tarot, and I can't deal with that.
Okay, don't be
So I
upset
didn't go
about
back. I did not go back. And it's so important for people to listen to that because there will be moments where you get that inspiration, that guidance that says like, bitch, you just better leave that shit behind you. Don't ever go back. Again, plug. I really think that we teach that, you know, because we're constantly teaching how to work different things and how to think for yourself and, you know, to ask so many different questions that eventually when you process this book, you're going to start thinking like a freaking super witch because you're going to be like, how do I work this? Like, how to work this? I got to listen to myself because I'm getting information. I'm going to listen to that. I trust it.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
So
I want to, Nita asks, please talk about the part of the book that is about finding your spirit ally. Nita, if you could clarify that question. I'm not sure exactly. There's a big section about, it's on page 159, the spirits, gods, and ancestors, where we talk about that. I don't know if there is something more specific, but that's not a specific question. So I was going to say, just read the part of the book. But so Prairie asked also, out of all the herbs and oils that you have discussed in the book, what are your favorite to use and why?
Yes. My favorite.
I know there's a million of them in
Because
here.
I know, and I love them all. I like. Oh my gosh, which one do I like the most? I can't pick. I don't even know. It's hard because when you're asking a question like that, it's like, I like it all because I'm a whore. But
It
let me.
depends on where you are, what you're doing. Really, the magical cupboard
Well,
starts on 462, which is about the section that has the different herbs and oils and such. It depends on what you're doing. It really depends. If you're doing love work, you're not going to be looking for, devil's shoestring.
right. I love my Corvus Alexandris oil, which is a sexual potency oil, because, well, obviously. But I do a lot of love work. I do a lot of attraction work, and that one is really fun to work with. So that is one of my favorite. Oh my gosh, I do sound like a whore because a lot of my stuff is like the DW, the Deviant Witch Super Sex Oil. That one is another one of my favorites because it has super lusty, super sexual. I know it doesn't look like it, but this is Rough, and I just got this from Scarlett. And Scarlett, I love you. Thank you so much.
Oh my God, I
Rough
love
Fire
that.
Agate. Fire Agate is freaking awesome, especially when you want to get your freak on.
Okay, well, she
Yeah,
didn't
I'm
ask
serious.
about crystals. She asked about herbs
But
and
the fire
oils.
agate is in my oil. The
Oh,
fire.
okay.
Oh, what is this? Huh?
Okay. All right. All right. All right.
Uh-huh.
All right.
The fire agate is in the super sex bottle. So get your freak on.
Is that the get you pregnant oil?
It can. Fire agate is really good at that. Get you knocked up. Be careful. Use that protection.
um, I don't know. I'm pretty big with the basics. I like rosemary is probably one of my favorite herbs because you can use it for protection of your home. You can use it for protection of anything, fidelity in your relationships. I'm trying to think. There's a bunch of, I've used rosemary for quite a few things. I don't know. I'm a big protection person for some reason, probably because I've had a lot of crap happen. Um, I'm just starting to get into essential oils more recently
And
to be
it's
able to
so
use
much
them
fun.
into a different way. When Michael got me into Young Living, I have quite a few of them right here, like the patchouli and lemongrass and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Oils are something that are a little bit different because they're more concentrated. So I think that they have a little bit of a stronger personality compared to the herbs. You can still connect with them the same way because you're connecting with like the main spirit of the actual herb and of the plant. But these are super concentrated and you can wear these and reapply them. So if you're doing something that is specific work, or if you want to do something that's maybe some kind of attraction work, or you're working as a waitress and you kind of need, I think be able to reapply something with an oil, like make a perfume oil is really, really beneficial.
Mm-hmm. And the okay, that's enough. By the book. Um, I really, I love this oil because it really empowers the witch. Like it gets you all primal. It gets you just going. I love that one because the name is awesome. Hello. No, I love it because when you put it on, it's like, okay, bam, I'm there. This is my work. I'm ready to switch over from my and it really you don't really switch from mundane to witchy because when you're a witch, that's just what you are. But there is like a place where you kind of have to get rid of your day job mentality and go into your, more primal, true to self mentality. And that's kind of what when I use Lefty's Rain to kind of spark up that witchy primal roar. I like that. That's one of my favorites as well. I just love oils. I love herbs. I love crystals. I'm a whore. I know. Speaking of, look,
It, never mind. You've had that for a while, haven't you?
I have had this for a while. It's wonderful. It helps me when I'm doing healing work, and it helps me when I'm creating um, formulas. And when like
You looked like you were gonna stick it in your ear.
that's not where it goes. So, but no, when I created a lot of these recipes, these formulas, I use this bad boy right here to really like activate the entire process, to direct the energy, and to make shit happen. Boom.
Yeah, tools are important. They're an extension of yourself and they enhance. A lot of people talk about you don't need tools, you don't need this, you don't need that. And I know we definitely talked about that in the book too.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you kind of do need them. You don't need every single thing under the planet, under the sun, on the
Right.
planet. But yeah, that's why they're here. You have to be careful sometimes with your tools. Not to buy everything that people say that you need or you should have, or certain things. Like I do have a wand that I bought from somebody. I absolutely love it. I do not use it as often as I should. I do not use an
Oh.
FMA. I should find one
Ooh.
because now I've seen a little bit more of. I know Michael has one now. Um,
I
I have a teeny little one. Um, they're used like the crystal wand is used to direct energy, and it's easier to use a tool. It's more effective to use a tool than just your mind because our minds wander, and just like mine just did right now.
hummingbird.
Yeah. Um, but it is more effective, and your work is more effective if you're able to focus. And no matter how zen you are, how much you meditate, sometimes shit happens and you lose your focus. Crystals are also great for grids, for charging your work. I
Mm-hmm.
love using them for that. Nina actually posted some awesome pictures in a Deviant Witchery group of some oils I saw. I believe it was crystals and herbs around the oils. I thought that was really cool too. That's a great way to charge up your work.
People see us because I have had a few people message saying that we're frozen, but we're not coming up frozen. So
I
it
don't
seems
know.
like Prairie. It seems like Prairie's the only person who knows how to use a comment thing. So Prairie, if you are out there, can you tell me if I'm frozen or not? Maybe. Wouldn't that suck? We were like talking our asses off and giving some good information, and this shit just froze.
Well, you're freezing on me a little bit, but I think it's because your internet.
Yeah, my
So
internet's a
that's
bitch.
why I'm not concerned about it because I know that you're having problems. Um,
What?
so the so the question about is it cutting out really bad? Is it
I
cutting
don't think
out really
so.
bad? I'm asking her,
Oh,
not you. Um,
sorry.
so the question about the spirit allies was not clarified. But I don't know if Michael, if you wanted to talk about that.
Well, I don't really know what she.
Yeah, I don't know what the
I don't know what
we
she
do
wants.
we do talk about different kind. I gotta find it again. We do talk about different kinds of spirits. Um,
Motherfucker, I'm the one who keeps cutting in and out. This shit is wrong. My internet needs to get their act together.
I know it's
Okay,
you.
so
It's okay. So in the spirits and gods and ancestors, which is page 159, it talks about the spirits of the land, spirits of your home, um, the gods, your ancestors. How do you know if you're being called by a god or a goddess? We talked about our personal stories about
mhm.
when we our personal experiences with different gods and goddesses, um, mixing them or not mixing them, go into
Tell my deity.
offerings, go into offerings and all sorts of different and ancestors and different stuff. So that's generally the general idea of that question. I don't think a lot of people talk about the spirit of the home and the spirit of the land. Now, recently, I've been getting back or getting into, in general, my own ethnic, nationality, history background, which is a good portion of it is Italian. And I was told in a reading to look towards the ancient Romans, and that is something that I've been slowly working on as time allows is to learn more about ancient Roman history, which was wiped out by Christianity. Thank you for that. So one of the first things that I researched and found out about was the spirits of the home or
Right.
the lairs. There's different levels. There's like the good ones, the bad ones, and the ones that are kind of in the middle. And what they would do is they would give offerings to the spirits of their homes who were out publicly. The more wealthy homes would actually have like a indent in, I would guess, the living area where they would put these statues
Mhm.
in. And actually the servants would give them the offerings. So it wasn't like the family members had to do it as long as somebody did it, because the spirits of the home looked over the servants as well. They looked over everybody. And whenever they traveled, they brought the statues with them. I'm assuming they were not too big, maybe about that big. They brought
I
them with
hope not.
them to weddings, to feasts, and any food that had fallen on the floor, which, if you know anything about the Romans, they like to get drunk and they probably spilled a lot of food. Any of the food that was left on the floor was now picked up and it was an offering for them. So the spirit of the home is very important because they protect the family, they protect your home, they will prevent you from getting robbed, and different things like that. It help create peace in your home with people that come into your home and different things like that. And the spirits of the land are beneficial. I know that question came up. You answered that question in a group fairly in the past 2 months. Somebody was talking, they wanted to curse their land.
Oh
So why
yes.
don't you talk about that?
I don't even remember what I said.
They wanted to curse their
Well,
land to prevent poachers.
I know. What's up with that? Why would you curse your land to prevent something? Okay, so now I think I remember what I said. Because, okay, why would you curse your land? Cursing, no. So I believe I said, why don't you contact and communicate the spirit of the place, the spirit that oversees the land, and form a relationship and ask that spirit to protect your land, to keep those assholes out, you know, instead of having to curse your land, because then you piss off the spirit of the place, and that just brings like this anxious, crazy energy, and that's not beneficial to anyone. So when you're working with spirits, when you're working with the spirit of the land, then you need to build that relationship, communicate with it, get to know it, leave offerings, just what good friends do. And you ask questions. You know, if you need protection, then you ask for protection and you listen to what they say. But you should not curse your land. And if you want to curse someone else's land, that's a different story, and that is actually pretty fun. Um, you can do that. And sometimes what you can do is communicate and have a relationship with the spirit of the land that you're actually trying to make, land infertile or whatever. You can talk with that spirit, and that spirit might not like the residents, on, their property. Or if you leave that spirit more offerings, if you get to know it and you actually build a good relationship with it, you can say, hey, these people are assholes. Can you do this for me? And I will bring this to you, So that's fun because, and it's even more fun, this is horrible, if the other person is a magical practitioner, because then it shows that they actually don't have a really good relationship with the spirit of the land. Because if you get one up on them, their relationship with the spirits of their land should be tight. There should be very potent.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the time, and it's traditional witches, yes, they're amazing at this. They're freaking awesome with this. But a lot of new practitioners are not taught to connect with the spirit of the home. They're not taught to connect with the spirit of the land. They're really not taught to connect with spirits. Most new witches are taught are to pick and choose from a list of fucking gods and work with them or have them do your bidding. So
doesn't work
most
that way.
new witches wouldn't even know how to back that shit up, And that's why we talk about it, because we are tired of seeing disempowered practitioners. And it's not like it's everyone. We're not saying it's everybody, but it is very common for people to not know half of the stuff that's in this book. And that's sad because we feel that it's like a primer. This is what you should know. So back to the whole spirit connection. It's really important. It's really, really important. That is one of the first things that a witch really should perfect is their spirit etiquette. Knowing how to connect with the spirit of a place, of the land, having a very strong connection with the spirits of your home. It's just, if you have that connection, it makes everything else so much more simple.
And Michael and Scarlett did a video about spirit work several months ago, beginning of the year maybe. So if you want to learn more about that, yeah, it was a while ago. If you want to learn more about that, go and check out that video. I learned a lot from watching that video because spirits is not my forte, and I was going to bring this up. And it's okay. It is okay. I'm okay with it. But I do know there's work that I need to do personally that needs to be done, and it is okay to not know everything. But the difference between not knowing everything and actually being, an effective witch is to learn how to do something, or to at least try how to do it. Spirit communication and connecting on that level is something that every witch, that's what makes a witch a witch. A lot of people disagree with that, and they say, oh, you don't have to talk to spirits
you do
to be a witch. And the fact of the matter is they're telling themselves that because they're scared, and it's an excuse to not have to do it. Everybody has guides. Everybody has their spirit guides. Everybody has dead folk that they're related to. You have your ancestors. They may not necessarily be the people you want to ask for help from. There are I call them the famous spirits. Everybody, is connected or feel like they're connected to different ones. The ones that are more well-known, that are not in your family. You have the witches of old that Michael connects with a lot. They help him out a lot. So some of them are probably known or not well known, or whatever the case is. I don't know the specifics because That's one of those things that's personal to him, and it's okay in your tribe to not know certain things. You don't need to know everything because it's really none of your business. I don't know why I felt like saying that, but I did. It's just if he shares something with me, he shares it with me, and I take the information. But if he doesn't, he doesn't, and I don't actually bother him about stuff like that. I don't ask him personal questions about his spirit guides and his ancestors and stuff like that because it is a personal thing. So keep that in mind when you're talking to somebody. If they don't want to share, they don't want to share because maybe they're not supposed to. Maybe they're not allowed to. They don't want to. It's personal. Um, but
Aww.
yeah.
Actually, that's actually really good. That's a good thing to say because a lot of people, like, if they have this relationship like that we have and they have their tribe, a lot of people would be offended by that. And it's like you can't take that personal because and it's I'm not like intentionally like not saying things, but sometimes I just don't. And most of the time I really don't have an issue saying anything, but sometimes you just can't or you don't just mention it. But sometimes there are things that just cannot be said until a certain time has passed or until the spirits say, okay, it is time to express this now. And when you are in a circle like this, if you're not strong, if you're not connected strongly and you're kind of like wavering, you might feel offended. You might feel like, they're not trustworthy or I can't trust them because they're not telling me something. So it's good for people to understand that sometimes it's necessary. Sometimes you just can't, and it's not on a personal level.
Mm-hmm.
So don't take offense to it.
Right. And especially if you don't know the person very well. Like if random people started messaging me and asking me like personal questions about my spirit guides or stuff like that, I wouldn't answer them. It's not in your business. And also another thing is too is if you know a lot about a spirit that somebody is working with or their guides, it can be used against the witch. And so that is why, or they can try to use it against you. I saw the face.
Absolutely.
They
You
can
never
really they can
know.
try, and it's not really something that you have to trust your relationship with the spirit before you communicate that relationship to a person, especially somebody who is a magical person, because you never know what can happen. It's another way of protecting
Exactly.
yourself. We don't believe in like keeping everything like super close to the chest. Don't tell anybody everything and don't trust anybody. But there are
Right.
certain things that you want to keep out of the hands of people. And your personal relationships are one of them.
Ooh, this that's kind of funny because I have okay. Look what I was gonna do. Okay, that's the wrong thing. Um, I flipped over earlier to the altar section, and Jamie is saying on the Google event page, we're all over the fucking place, man.
Yeah.
I would like to say thank you for the altar section. In my experience, it seems to be such an issue in other groups. I don't get it. So the altar section was actually really fun.
The altar section was
Very, very
actually my idea. We
was your idea.
because I felt like it was important because it was one of those things. It's one of the first questions when somebody first finds the craft. I think the most two common questions are about altars and about gods. Right away, they want to set up their altar and they want to find their god or their goddess. That is the first two things. So yes, the altars are. And I did write the opening statement that says you can alter your altar, but you can't alter your altar, and that is a spelling mistake. That is very
How to
it's
spell.
happening more often with no, it's spelled properly in the book.
No,
It's
yeah.
happening more often with autocorrect. So you have to be careful if you're using your phone. The autocorrect is not going to get you because if autocorrect gets you, somebody will say something about it. Yes, the different kinds of altars. I don't know if there was something specific she liked about it, or but the the love altar, protection altar, money altar. If you have the space and you're doing multiple things, you should have multiple altars. I have one here, which has actually been split up into 3 sections because this is a entertainment system that is not being used as an entertainment system. It is a bookshelf, tarot shelf. And I used the top, it was split up into 3 sections where I had to move. A love and protection altar is actually next to me right here. This behind me, I need to fix it. This used to be a money altar. um, I have to, there's a lot of stuff I need to do. I need to fix up.
I'm working on that today.
I don't know. I've kind of gone by the, so much stuff has been going on lately. If I redo my stuff, it takes me all day because I go through everything and I go through all my stuff and I find new stuff and I can't throw anything out. And so anyways, they don't have to be complicated. They don't have to be pretty. To me, I like them functional. And
functionality
and that's it. And my very first altar was just one, I don't know where it is now, just terrible, was one little figurine. It was a figurine and like 3 crystals, and that was my first altar because that's all I had. And the figurine was in a representation of Hecate, and that was her representation. And then it has grown since then, things that I've created myself or I've bought or she has guided me to buy.
I have I've been cleaning all day and obviously I need help because there's one altar right here, you see? And that, my dear friends, is a hot mess. But that's where I work with my ancestral spirits. And when I say ancestral, my witchy ancestral spirits, I guess I would say. Yes. So back there is another hot mess. I need to clean this shit.
I know, you're making me think now that I have to. Another thing is too, your altar space has to be clean. It has to be set up. It has to be functional. When your altar is not, you'll notice that your life sucks. Your altar is a direct representation of yourself. I do believe in the book somewhere, I do say that you should clean it up at least once a week, refresh your offerings, do what you need to do, or more often, depending on what it is that you do. Yeah, that's one of the reasons I think why stuff has sucked for me the past couple of months is because everything is kind of like, but it happens and you can't beat yourself up about it, and you just get up and you do it and you clean it off and you fix it up and things start to pan out the way that they're supposed to happen. But yeah, keeping it clean is definitely
and
very important.
It is. And I know for a fact that Nadia said she ranted about this event before because I remember commenting on something like that because she's very about her altars and it being clean and tidy, because if you keep a dirty altar, then the work's dirty. Like, it's messy.
Right.
I like to be functional, and yeah, it might look cluttered, but at least to me, if it makes sense, then I'm okay with it. But I know right now, for me, my altars are out of alignment with what they need to be. They're a little too messy, and I've been working on cleaning that up. And it's true, like you said, like if you have a fucked up altar, if it's like dirty, if it needs to be dusted, and it's not being taken care of, then that energy is stagnant.
Yes.
And the whole altar section, clean it up, motherfuckers.
What I do is I take everything off, and I take my Florida water, because I love my Florida water, and I sprinkle it. I sprinkle it shit all over the place, and I take mine's across the room. I take paper towel, because it's usually incense ash, and I clean it up and you clean it up and you clean it up till it's all gone. Wash your cloths, wash your altar cloths separately. You can wash them together, but not with your regular laundry. I try to use something that's like no dyes, no perfumes. I try to use them more. Usually my laundry detergent is natural anyway, but I try to use that and let them dry. I let them dry naturally, air dry, and then lay it back out and then put everything back on, put your offerings up, put all your stuff up, dust everything. I usually wipe down everything with Florida water too. Don't usually do that every week, but if I'm noticing things are like I have this dragon up here. You can't see him right now. He gets really. I have a couple dragons. This is my buddy. I've had him for a long time. So he's got lots of stuff going on. More so on the bottom. So he gets really dusty. So he has to be cleaned. He really needs to be cleaned right now. So this is actually a protector of mine. That's why he's on my altar. So he needs to be cleaned. He has his space, and he does his own thing. So you have to be careful with all the stuff that's on there. Okay. So Nita had clarified her.
Okay. Before we get to that, though, what I really liked about like the altar section is we talk so much about like the different things. We don't tell you what you have to have on there, but we talk about what their use is, and then we give you like different crystals, herbs, and then symbols, images, and different things that you can use on that altar. We're really all about practicality. We're about making it work. And I think that is kind of what sets our book apart from others, just because we're constantly working and we are talking to other people who are doing the same thing, and we want to make sure that this is something that they know. So it's giving you all these tips on how to make it your own and not telling you how it has to be.
Yeah, like some books I've seen, more of the Wiccan books, they have a picture and it says this goes here and that goes here and this goes there. The only thing I think that is specific like that is if you're casting a circle and you want your representations there, and so you want the color correspondences, you want the shell and the water. I have a shell and a rock and a candle and a feather for air. You want them in the right spot. You want them. That's to me that yes. But everything else is kind of goes, things change, your life changes, your situation changes, your altar's going to change. I think it's boring if it stays the same. I do believe that the gods and the spirits get bored and they start asking for different stuff. They maybe want a different kind of wine, or maybe they want some water next time, or they want to kick it up with some rum, or they want some flowers. They want some flowers. They want something else. They get bored too, and it is their space. You're creating their space in your home, so it is for them. And if you have spirits and if you have spirited, this is another thing that I need to do, spirited poppets and such, give them a place to live, give them a place to call their own, give them their own area.
Right. Okay, so Nita clarified her question, and she says that she's new to the craft. She has not tried to connect with spirits yet. It does intimidate her a little. So I guess her question about the spirit ally is that the best starting point to open the door for her?
If you're talking about spirit allies, there's different ways to figure out. Actually, I'm going to recommend a book by Christopher Penczak, which is called, I believe is called Spirit Ally, or it's connected
to
Spirit Allies. Yeah, the Christopher Penczak book, Spirit Allies, goes really in depth into the different kinds and different everything else, and angels and guides and everything. So I definitely recommend that. How do you feel is the best way to connect with your spirit allies?
In the book, we have information on how to do that. I mean, I think honestly, if you start with the psychic poppet, I think that's the best route, because the psychic poppet will help you to gain a little more confidence in that realm. The psychic poppet will, you'll form that relationship. You'll have that connection. And then once you work with that a little more, you build your own personal ethics. You start to work with that energy more. You work on protecting yourself, and you start to build like that confidence. Then you move into working with like the spirit of the house, because that's another thing that I would say work with the spirit of the house, and then the spirit of the land, and start there. That's a really good. Those are good places to start, because those are things that you live in your home. You have to deal with the spirit anyways, so you might as well make it better and actually connect with it and form a relationship with it. But start definitely with like a psychic puppet, because at least that's a little less. What am I trying to say? It's not. It's going to start you in slowly, because it will connect you to the spirit realm, but it's also going to motherfucker. I can't even say going. Shit. So it's also going to buffer that for you a little as well. So start with the psychic puppet. Then work your way through.
Another good thing too is meditation. Meditate in your home to try to connect with your spirit ally, the spirit of the home. Try to feel out what it wants for offerings. Start out with water. Water is the most basic thing for life. Water is life. Start out with water. Put out a clean glass of water, and that's the easiest way to start. And it is a slow process, and it's not something that should be rushed if you don't want to freak
No.
yourself out. You don't want to start
Yeah.
inviting stuff in that's not supposed to be there. It is a very slow process, and just do it. It has to be natural and organic.
Right, and I think that's important for everyone who's going through this to realize, like, don't try and rush the work in here. Don't force it. Process it. Go slowly. Go as slow as you need, and don't assume that you're far more advanced than you are. Go through it. Take the time, because if you try and go faster and farther than where you actually are, where to be, it's gonna hurt. I could make such a horrible reference right now, but I'm not going to do that. So I'm trying to think of a different reference. I can't. I'm not going to say it. Anyways, but you really just think.
I just flipped open to the Mercury retrograde section, which we are in right now. We covered that too.
We do. What page is that?
448.
Oh, I was close. But yeah, don't rush things. You damage yourself if you do.
Right, and you'll skip things, and you won't build that foundation that you need to build.
Right. Another, before the Mercury retrograde section, there is the spell disposal. Motherfucker. Oh, it's in there. Which is on page 444. The spell. I thought that was nice to have, because we really aren't taught a lot. I mean, in Hoodoo and Conjure, you're taught a lot on how to dispose of items. I was taught that. But in witchcraft, you really don't get taught how to dispose of things. I have never really, I can't say that I've read every single book out there, but I haven't really been taught, or I've never really read anywhere where it says how to dispose of items after you're finished, because all of your items are spirit charged. Once you work with them, everything has a spirit as it is, but once you start working with them, it just starts to activate them, and their spirit is even more so, powerful. And so there's remnants of these things that you can't just toss out. You have to take care of them first. So I thought that was pretty cool that we were able to put that in the book, and I hope that people can take it and expand on it.
Rachel asked, what would you do with glass candles? All right. I use a lot of glass candles. The tall ones.
Candle whisperer.
They are they are my favorite to use. And I had this is what I do. I'll tell you what I do. I use my glass candle and I do what I need to do, and I will write on it with a Sharpie, or I will put a petition, and usually both, put a petition underneath the candle. That's how I do it. Once it's burned through, I leave it. I will leave it on my altar. I don't have anybody to come and touch my stuff. I don't have anybody to come sneaking anything out. I leave it, and I leave it there. And once I know that the spell has worked, all my spells work very quickly, usually within a couple weeks. It's just, I don't know. That's why I love candles. That's why I love candles. What I do,
I don't know, like
once my spell is done, I will take my Florida water and I will clean the outside of the glass and I will wipe off all my writing. And to me, that cleanses the energy off of the glass. I read somewhere or heard somewhere that if a witch finds your candle, they can use it against you because it has your energy imprint on it. If you believe that or not, that's up to you. I clean it. And another thing, you can put it in a paper bag and you can smash it. And then you can do with the remains what you want to do. You can throw them in the garbage. You can bury them, mail them to somebody's house. You can send them to the dump. Whatever it is that you need to do. That is what I do personally. I always clean them off because it has my handwriting on it and usually has my name and different things. So I will actually wipe everything off.
That is interesting. That gives me a really interesting witchy idea.
That is more of the next book kind of information, the advanced information.
It is because I totally just got like this. I have to write it down. Oh my gosh. I totally just got this like insight. Like I know. Okay. Oh my god, that freaking link that you sent. That woman's face is horrible.
So essentially, you're going to dispose of it in a similar way that you are going to your other candles. But you can put it in a brown paper bag and smash it if you want to and dispose of it that way. I actually have not buried a dang thing. I've never buried anything because the spells that I want to keep going are always container spells. So I have them in my home anyway. I have no need to, I have not used, some people use plants to help their spells grow and different things. I have not used any of that stuff where I've needed to actually bury. Usually my stuff stays out till it's done. And then I just
mine does too.
Toss it.
And the way I do that is, and I do use a lot of glass candles, but I will take the energy sometimes with this dude. All right. So I'll take the energy from the candle and I will place it into something. So if I'm still working on something, or if I just need to super charge something, I will take the power from that working, the remnants of it, and I'll I'll neutralize it, and I will put it into either the next candle, or my grimoire, or I will send it somewhere. I will use that energy. Then I will scrub it clean. Sometimes with Florida water. Sometimes I've been using Thieves essential oil to kind of clean stuff, and then that's it. Sometimes I'll save the glasses to reuse for different projects. But yeah, that's how I take care of it, because there's still energy, there's still potency in that, so make use of it. And I'll take it and I'll put it elsewhere. Well, that's what I do.
Oh, there's another thing I thought of too.
Ooh, we got some inspiration tonight.
I know. Now I'm brainstorming for the next book now.
Stop! You keep saying next book. Oh my god, woman! Oh, you're trying to kill me. Another thing, I don't know if I covered this earlier, but another thing I really like is we kept it consistent. Like throughout the entire book, we expressed how you can work with each, everything, like for love, for protection, for your kids, for money, for malediction, my favorite, for all for. I already said protection. Okay, I repeated myself. But we are very consistent in every single section with how um, you can use all the stuff. Like, so if it's the dark moon, the new moon, waxing, waning, if it's 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, whatever, we are very precise about making sure that you understand that you can work with all of these things for the same categories, but it kind of alters the way you would work with them.
Right, and the
So
days
that's pretty
too.
cool.
The days too. Like you don't have to if you need to do something now, right now, you're not gonna wait for a moon. You're not gonna wait for. I try to use the proper day. I
Yeah.
don't. You're not gonna wait. You're not gonna do this after that. Maybe you can't afford to wait. Maybe you need to do it right this friggin' second, or you can wait an hour. Oh, so you can use the number correspondence or the color. You know, yeah, you really have to work with what you have and the time allowance that you have. So you have to know how to do all of that.
Yeah, and we by being that's the word of the day, y'all, consistent. By being consistent with the work that we do, by making sure that everything is explained like that, it teaches and it kind of triggers the brain to think that way. So like when you're in a rush and it's like, oh shit, it's this time. It's not the right moon phase, but I know that this time means this. I can do this. It really teaches us to start thinking more creatively, but by having that foundation, by having, the inspiration in which we express what can be done, you're able to get even more, out of the experience.
Yeah, sometimes you have to think outside the box because you can buy a huge ass book. You can buy that 5,000 book of spells from Judica, and there
I
may
have it
not
right here.
be something in it that is exactly what you need. So you need to be able to change things a little bit, change your wording. Maybe if
Uh-huh.
you're not in the right moon phase, you need to be able to change things and adjust things a little bit. Spells are very individual, especially for dire situations. They have to be specific and different, and wording is very important. And we go into that in the book too. Wording is very important to know what you want because, be careful what you ask for. You're going to get it. Different things like that.
I know, and I mean, shit. What don't we talk about? We talk about how to get knocked up. I want, I want someone. I hope someone does that spell. That
Well,
was
we talk
so.
about how to get knocked up, and then you can also hex your ex-boyfriend too. There's a whole lot of different things that you can do with this book.
I know, and I
Um,
love that we incorporate so many different things because it's like, and it's all working things. We work with essential oils, we work with herbs, we're getting our hands dirty. And that's kind of like, that's the expression of the witch, is we get down and dirty,
I
because
think that a lot of the newer stuff is more ritual based. People get together or they do their full moon rituals and they do this and they do that. They don't actually get down and dirty when it comes to the work that they need to do.
no, it's all about like, let's meditate, let's pray, let's have a little drumming circle, and it drumming's awesome, but if you don't take it to the next level, if you don't actually do with the drumming what you're supposed to, if you don't go into trance, if you don't like travel, um, then you're just on the surface. You're not experiencing that full power. You're not experiencing that full like essence. Um, totally just like lost train of thought because Jamie was like, "It won't be me doing that one." Haha. I'm like, "Girl, you better go try that spell and get knocked out." Just saying.
That was a very
We
interesting experience. Michael wrote the ritual, and I had to clarify a couple things because It was a very, that was one of the first ones you wrote. He's like, I don't know if I can do this right now. Trying to write the ritual, which I believe is in the section for Yule. We do break down the Sabbats too, and different things. It's 249.
Yeah, it is, and
that's one of the first things. Yeah, the Yule is. We start with Yule.
Oh, it's on page 260, I think. Mm-hmm. Oh, and I see that we need to edit that page as well.
Yeah.
Because it refer to page number, and it doesn't give you the page number.
Okay.
Where's my house?
Yeah, there are some edits that we need to do to the book. Yeah, so there's that ritual on how to get knocked up if you want to. We had to clarify a couple things, which was really funny.
Shut up.
But well, it goes into like if you don't have the book, it breaks it down further. It talks about utilizing Yule for love, utilizing it for wealth and abundance and prosperity, utilizing it for protection, utilizing it for healing. It's malediction, witchlings. Each Sabbath is broken down even further. Usually it's okay. Well, Yule is for this, and
right.
That's not. You can be used for so many different things because you may not be in this mindset. You might be in a malediction mindset. You might be in the you want to make a baby mindset. Everybody's different. So this is a way to use things differently. You may be recovering from your shopping binge, so you need to use the wealth part. There's different things. Yeah.
And crystals up the wazoo, man. There's just so much. There's just. How are we going to write another book?
It doesn't have to be this big. It doesn't have to be this big.
We're like freaking okay. We're like what's her name? J.K. Rowling. We should have started with like this big of a book and then progressed because her biggest book was over 700 pages, but what was like 800 something, I think. I don't know.
I don't know. I think we set the bar pretty high with this one.
I know, it's freaking me out. Oh, and then we also talk about, I can't believe we haven't even mentioned this, the color wheel.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And different kinds of candles, and the different kinds of candles you can use.
Yes, and that, I know a lot of that is common sense, but when talking to people, like when kind of like consulting with them, seeing if they know what they're doing or just trying to get more information from them, a lot of people don't really know how to work with oh my god, here they don't know how to work with the different types of candles. They don't know about like the different colors in a deeper level, but they don't know to work with chime candles for a certain reason or taper candles, or they have not really taken their craft to that level. They just think that it's a long candle, it's going to burn.
I love my chime candles, which is why I think my magic works so quickly, is because I usually use these babies.
And they're, yeah.
The reason why I use them, why these are my favorite, now a box of these are box of 20, buy it for $4 from a regular candle wholesaler. The people that won the raffle, I gave a color of each to them, so that came from my personal stash because I love chime candles so much. They are so effective. You can inscribe them, you can oil them up, you can put you could do them just like anything. These burn in an hour to 2 hours depending on what it is. Taper candles. All right, my schedule is such that I can't watch a candle for an hour or two unless I want to lose sleep. So I just do this. I trust these that they're not going to fall over. I don't recommend it for anybody, but I do trust them that nothing's going to happen. I don't have, actually I should say I don't have 8 hours to watch a freaking taper candle burn down. I do have an hour or two for these. I do not have 8 hours for a taper candle unless, because I don't like putting mine out. I like letting them burn straight through. Even my glass candles burn straight through. I don't put them out ever. So, that's me personally.
Yes. And for some reason, I like to make things more difficult, so I tend to use bigger candles. But I've fallen in love with the smaller candles because they do. I'm very impatient, and I don't know why I use big candles, but I like things to go fast. So lately, I have been using smaller candles because of that reason. But normally, I use like just glass candles.
It's funny because I guess it was more, I don't know, I always use the smaller ones because, like I said, I don't have 8 hours to sit around and watch a candle burn and make sure it doesn't fall over.
Right.
And I noticed my workings happening very quickly from a couple days to like 2 weeks. Like seriously, I think the longest spell I've had took maybe about 3 weeks. If it's a harder working where I think it's going to need more work or more things need to be done, I'll go straight to the glass candles because I trust them not to light my house on fire, basically. So I use my candles out of necessity, which works for my lifestyle, and that just what works for me. Yeah.
And the color wheel aspect of, neutralizing different colors, using one color to balance another color or one color to enhance another color, that is all something that you can take to make your craft a little more. And this is also good work to kind of throw off other practitioners, because if you don't want something to be undone, most people don't really know the color wheel. Most people don't work within the color wheel. So if you are adding that to your craft, if you're adding that to your, your toolbox, then you have an extra advantage over another witch or another practitioner. Like, so if someone wants to undo something you're doing, they have to kind of unravel stuff. And if you're working with the color wheel, they don't know about that. They really can't. It kind of creates a block. So that's always an extra bonus.
Right.
Rachel says, what was your favorite part of the book to write and why? None of it.
My favorite part, I think, was I started the altar section. I would start a section and Michael would expand on it. Is pretty much how he wrote the book. He would write a section and I would expand on it and back and forth. I started the altar section. For me, that was a lot of fun because I have a couple of them, and just through trial and error, I found what works for me. I also enjoyed, it was a challenge, but the days of the week, because I've always tried to use the days of the week in my workings as much as possible, but I've always had a set mindset where Monday is for this, Tuesday is for this. So Michael really challenged me to get out of that mindset and try to expand every day on, okay, well, how would you use Monday for love? How would you use it for abundance? How would you use it for protection? So that really was, it was fun. It was a challenge, but it was like a good challenge. It wasn't daunting. It was a little daunting at first, but once I got going, it became a lot easier. And I really enjoyed writing that section.
I don't know. Like, I really don't. It was all, I don't really think I have. I mean, my favorite section is the formulas.
What is your least favorite section to work on?
I don't even.
I think
circle casting.
Circle casting, really?
I guess.
Probably because
I don't know.
You don't do circles. I know the the cupboard took the longest because there's so much.
I don't know. I can't.
The cupboard section
Wow.
is almost 130 pages.
Really?
From the magical cupboard to candle magic.
That was a pain in the fucking
Is
ass.
130
That
pages.
shit took forever. Oh my god, that was. I loved it, but yeah, that took forever. I really can't say. I don't know. I do. I actually do like it all. Like I can't say that there's a section that I really disliked or that I liked more. The circle casting section was a challenge because it's not something that it's really not something I wanted to incorporate, but I think you kind of talked me into it. You're like, well, most people do, work circles, or most people who might be coming to this book are going to be familiar with circles, so we kind of have to include it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fine.
We want to explain also why we don't use circles. Because a lot of people think, you have all these crazy warnings about you have to use a circle. We wanted to kind of explain why we don't.
Yeah.
So, and it's cool if you want to use them, and if you don't. Don't let anybody try to get you any which way.
And I know that I got into like I just kind of let the person talk. Like one of my ex-mentors got really heated on my choice and not to always use circles, and they did not like that, and they said, well, sometimes you just have to. And I just kind of left it at that because it's hard to explain your views to someone who is not willing to see them. And when someone thinks that a circle is a certain thing and that you do something differently and it actually is the same like concept, but you have a different way of doing it, they're not gonna. Sometimes they don't see that as the same thing. If you don't spell it out for them, like it's a circle, I'm casting a circle, they don't comprehend. They're not willing to listen. They're not willing to accept it. But I feel like we did a good job in expressing to people, like if you choose to cast a circle, that's your right. We're not saying they're bad. We're just saying that this is something that we don't do, and this is why. We have other ways of doing what we do without like a traditional circle.
Right. And some traditional magical paths don't have circles. There's a lot of them that don't. Right. There's always a ritual to it. The cleansing, and more of, I guess, a hoodoo background, cleansing yourself before you start, and cleansing your space, and cleansing your tools. That is something that I personally strongly believe in, keeping everything clean and prepared. As far as actually, I don't feel like I need a circle for protection. I don't feel that way. If I'm doing something, like malediction wise, where I feel like I need to like wash off the gunk or prevent any kind of backlash or whatever the case is, you take a bath afterwards, and hyssop cleanses the crap out of you. So
yes, it does.
Hyssop works really, really well for that, and I did that once actually, and it felt like it was the right thing to do at that time, so that's what I did. And sometimes if you're doing work, you might take 2 or 3 baths a day. It depends on what you're doing. It is
right.
what it is.
And I also feel like, because I work heavily with spirits, so when I call them, they surround me. They are a part of the connection. And so I feel like, and I have guardians as well. And so I'm well protected. I have other things that I do as well, which I'm not going to speak of. But I have layers of energy. So I don't feel like I have to cast specifically because it's there. But again, if that's it, that is your own personal choice. And if you at the end of the day, if you feel more sacred, if you feel more safe doing it that way, then you really have to do that, because if you didn't feel safe without it and your practice in that space, your fear and insecurity and that energy is going to attract stuff to you, and that's not going to be positive for the work that you're doing. Um, someone had a question on this page. I wanted to know if it's possible for time magic to actually slow down or stop the scenery the more you use it. And even books or poetry, how do you become advanced in bending time to your own will? Well, I can say.
I'm going to take a break. You go.
Okay. So, for me personally, like I can say I've used this specific one that I shared in the book. I use it daily almost. But I really haven't noticed. I have not noticed like scenery or time really altering the fact where it slows down or it speeds up. I have not experienced that with that. And I, again, like I said, I
Oh no, he froze while I was gone. I have no idea what he was talking about, unfortunately. So just give me a minute. Oh, he completely dropped off. Awesome. He has been having internet problems today, so I don't know if he is going to be back. It says on my Facebook screen that he is still online, but I don't know what happened. And we are right about that 2-hour mark anyway, so I don't know what to do. I'm probably gonna have to end the show. If anybody has any further questions about any of the material that is in the book, please leave us a comment during the rebroadcast of the show. You can also have a discussion in the group. A lot of people are saying that they purchased the book, but they have not actually started a discussion about the book, and I'm not sure if people are waiting for us to start it, but we don't plan on starting a formal discussion. If there's something that you had a question on or something that you liked or you didn't understand or whatever it is and you want to talk about, feel free. It's in the book. We're not hiding any information. You're not going to spoil anything by talking about it. You're going to help people understand. It also will encourage other people to buy the book and do their own thing and try their own thing. And trying to keep my train of thought. I apologize. So it is definitely something that we appreciate if you would start a discussion if you feel the need to start a discussion about it. So if you haven't already, he's back now. I was just ending the video.
Oh, were you?
I was. The Deviant Grimoire. We can do another video in time. Probably be more time. So you can purchase the book on Amazon, create a space in digital format and in print format. And let us know. Leave us some reviews on Amazon. We really appreciate it. Some people have said they've bought like multiple copies for their friends, and that is like amazing. Like that is flattering that you'd buy the book to give away to other people. That it really is.
That's super awesome.
And we hope that everybody has a great weekend. And just remember, if you have any questions, feel free to ask and start discussions.
And definitely leave a review. Okay? That's it.
Good night.
Peace out.